Hello friends, Adam here with FED. So today we're going to be looking at every Fire Emblem game, including spin-offs, as well as games made by Shozu Kaga after he left Intelligent Systems, and ranking them based on how much fun I think they are. And fun is a super subjective term. It means something different to everyone. What's fun for me may not be what's fun for you, or we may look for different experiences in our free time. So this is 100% subjective. Just my thoughts. So the point of this tier list isn't for me to tell you that your favorite game is lame or bad, but more so me to share my opinion, and then for you to disagree or agree with my opinion in the comments and share your own thoughts. So that's the point. So after watching this, please comment, share your thoughts. Again, not telling you that your favorite game is bad if I don't like it as much as you do. It's just my opinion. So one quick thing, this tier list that I found, because I'm lazy and I didn't want to make my own, I found someone else's that was already made on TierMaker. They don't have FE1 on here. So we're just so you know, I would put FE1 in not fun tier. I don't have fun playing FE1, it's archaic, hard to, it just lacks a lot of the quality of life improvements that we've seen throughout the series. So I don't enjoy playing FE1, therefore I put it into not fun tier. Same goes for Gaiden. I think it's a little more fun than FE1, but Gaiden still has the problem of being really hard to kind of understand and really hard to it's hard to grasp, like really grasp at how well your units are going to do in combat, and then in combat it has like the really hard bars to understand. So really for me it becomes a fight against the mechanics of the game, a fight against the game, rather than me controlling units and fighting against the enemy. So it's me fighting against old archaic stuff rather than me enjoying it. Therefore, not fun to me. Alright, next, FE3. I actually like FE3 quite a bit, but I do find it has moments that drags just because it's an older game. Therefore, it takes a little longer to get through things than I prefer, which is the only thing keeping it from being one tier higher for me. It's really fun. I enjoy the characters, or using the characters a lot. Like, whatever, I say characters. They're more just faces with numbers by them because they don't have a whole lot of character. Let's be honest. But I think it's a fun time. Really good game. If you haven't played it, you should. FE3 is fun. Particularly Book 2. I think Book 2 is where it really takes off. Book 1's fun too, though. Okay. BS Fire Emblem. Gast actually just put up a video about this, so if you're curious about that, go check out Fairgast's video about BS Fire Emblem. It was released for the Satellaview, which was like this early video game age internet device that allowed you to download games via satellite for like a specific period of time. And these were just like these little one map chapters, one map stories that you played, and honestly they're entertaining. They're pretty fun. But it still suffers from the same thing of being kind of older and harder to understand and play. And also to just get your hands on, it's nearly impossible unless you want to emulate. So that's a whole thing on its own. But I'm not going to hold that against it. I think it's entertaining, but not worth playing more than once, in my opinion. It's fun like one time. All right, Genealogy of the Holy War gets stale. Oh my gosh, I love Genealogy of the Holy War as much as the next guy. Don't get me wrong, it's a great game. But I find myself midway through Chapter 2 being like, why am I playing this? And then I finish Chapter 2 and I start Chapter 3 and I'm like, okay, Chapter 3's fun. And then I get to midway through Chapter 4 and I'm like, why am I playing this? There are just there's a few too many moments in Genealogy of the Holy War that really rub me the wrong way as far as my enjoyment of it. I find myself getting bored between the walking simulators and also just like desert maps too that just like hamper your terrain for a long time are annoying. Stupid Yi Desert Man. But like, don't get me wrong, I feel like it's fun, and I know that it's a lot of people's favorites, so I get why people like it. It just gets pretty old, especially it's stale early on. I think Gen 2 gets a lot better, so it like improves. It's a weird, like, it starts off really fun, and then it kind of slows down, and then fun slows down, and then you get to Gen 2, and it's fun for most of the time, until you get to some sections that feel a little slower. But overall, I think it gets stale a little more often than it should. Therefore, it goes into gets stale tier. Alright, Thracia 776 is fun as heck, man. 3C776 is so fun. Every time I play it, I have a good time. I would put it into super fun tier if only I enjoyed it as much as the games that I am going to put into super fun. So I don't really have a good reason for not having it in the highest tier. It's just my pure enjoyment of other games. Now, especially with the new Little Manster, Project Exile, whatever all that garbage is, all that stuff that's out, it's become such an accessible game to play. It used to be pretty like archaic feeling, inaccessible, kind of like a mystery box in terms of some of the objectives that you needed to do, or some of the items, how they work, skills, how they work. Now everything is super plain and simple right in the game. You don't even have to look really anything up, and you'll figure out how to do most things in the game. You might miss a few things here or there, but overall 3C776 is just fun the entire time. There's tons of cool mechanics like capture, canto, stealing. Like stealing is fun in that game. I love thieves. I don't know. Just really, really fun stuff that makes the game interesting every time you play it. I could play 3C776 multiple times and probably not get bored for quite a while. Really fun stuff. Alright, next we have our first non-Fire Emblem. This is Tearing Saga, released on the PlayStation by Shozu Kaga. I love Tearing Saga. Love it to death. Super fun. I shouldn't say super fun because that's a tier. Very fun. It's a fun game. I'm not sure which one I prefer, Thracia or Tearing, but they're both really good. So if you haven't played Tearing Saga, it is, again, it's for the PlayStation. It was a Japanese exclusive, much like FE 1 through 6, but there is an amazing translation patch that was, I forgot who did it originally, but it was cleaned up by Ethan, and it's really well done. Really lengthy story, fun characters. I enjoyed a lot. The gameplay is great, and honestly, there's just so many fun weapons and items to use. Similar to like how Thracia has a lot of fun personal weapons for like characters that you wouldn't think would get one. Like who would have thought one of your early game axe fighters would get this overpowered axe in chapter 1? You know, like that's crazy. And you see stuff like that in Tearing Saga with like there's a character who gets a sword that he literally, it resurrects him every time he dies as long as it's equipped. There's another just kind of like random-ish character that you could totally miss that has a weapon that halves all damage when he has it equipped. And stuff like that. And then there's like a crazy crit sword later on that has like 80% crit on the weapon itself, so you're critting all the time with it. It's just such a fun game to play with. You have so many things to mess around with between characters. There's so many secrets that you're definitely going to miss them on your first playthrough, but there's so many that you're going to find some too. Awesome game. I have fun every time. Fun every time. Fun game. Fun game. Alright. The Binding Blade. I'm going to put it here. In entertaining. I think it is the most fun Game Boy Advance game of the three. I think the maps are, there's some tedious ones, of course, but there's some tedious maps in every Fire Emblem. But I think the tedious maps are relatively short-lived. I don't think there's that many of them. And I don't know, I enjoy the characters. It's just fun, just a fun game. I don't really have any good reason besides saying that it entertains me while I play it. And I'll say the same for Blazing Sword / Blazing Blade, whatever you call it these days. Blazing Sword, or FE7, or just Fire Emblem here in the States, or most of the world really, outside of Japan, is once you get past Lin mode, it's great. And I would suggest just not playing Lin mode after you don't have to anymore, after you unlock the ability to skip it. But just playing Eloyd mode or just playing Hector mode is actually pretty fun. So it entertains me. I don't have as much fun with it as I do, say, Thracia or Tearing, but it's a good game overall, and you will get your money's worth out of it if you buy it, or get your downloads worth out of it, if you know what I mean. Great stuff though. Fun game. Okay. Sacred Stones. Personal opinion. I don't like it very much. It gets stale. I think Sacred Stones is just stupid easy. I don't have a lot of fun. I don't feel like I get challenged ever. You could say the same for Blazing Sword, but I just feel it's more so for Sacred Stones. There's a lot of just really strong characters in Sacred Stones. Like everyone's really good, I feel like. Even if you want to use people like Amelia or Ewan or whatever, like they're pretty good. And even if you don't want to use them, you like who are bad, and then you don't use them, who hamper you down, and you get to use units who are amazing, like Seth or Soleil, or however you say his name, the mage dude that comes later on, or I should say Sage dude that comes later on. Fun characters like Cormag, Garrick, really like powerful cast of characters, and add to that, you know, endless grinding and whatever. This makes the game kind of a snooze to me. I know, again, it's another one that a lot of people think is amazing. It's another favorite of a lot of people, but that's just kind of where I fall on it. Path of Radiance. Path of Radiance is dope. Love Path of Radiance. The only thing that keeps me from putting it in super fun and keeps it below Thracia and Tearing is how slow it plays. Path of Radiance enemy phases are days long, man. It takes, especially some of the longer late game maps, whether it's Clash or I don't know, Endgame have some long enemy phases. There's just long enemy phases, and if you're going to have animations on, you're going to be sitting there for ever. And the animations aren't even that good, really, so it's not even worth it. But even the map animations take forever. There's no getting around it, other than if you want to emulate and use a speed up function. The game takes forever to get through. It takes forever. It's a fun time. I love the story. It's one of my favorite stories in the series. It's pretty basic, but it's also just kind of heartwarming and nice. I like the characters a lot. Shout outs to, you know, Oscar, Boyd, and Rolf, 3 of my favorite characters in the series. Awesome, and they have a fun dynamic. They all have green hair. Green hair is cool, I guess. And yeah, Path of Radiance is dope. It was the first Fire Emblem I completed all the way through, so I love it. All right, next we have Berwick Saga. Now I haven't finished Berwick Saga. There's a few on here that I haven't finished, but I've played a chunk of, and I have a good feel on them. Like, unless they get totally different in the last, maybe 45% of the game, then I have a good feel for what they are. And Berwick Saga is one of those. I've played the first, 9 out of 15 chapters, and I think Berwick Saga is super fun. Berwick Saga, I need to fix my dimensions real quick. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. We'll get that nice and snugly tight in the window there for you to see, and easier to see and stuff. Alright. Berwick Saga. Berwick Saga is amazing. Every character is good in some way. Of course, there's some characters that are better than others, except for Derek. Derek is just bad. Derek is always bad. Derek is the 3-move armor knight meme unit people talk about. He's the cheapest to hire, too. It's hilarious. But I really love the unit system where you hire mercenaries to join your team. And if you, after a while, or after meeting certain requirements, raising their happiness stat, which is a hidden stat in the game that you just get by deploying them essentially and other things, make some help, how sometimes they have to promote or whatever at level 10, but just getting units is really fun because you use them as mercenaries, pay for them, and then eventually they join your cause because they grow to like you or for some other reason, or they need to be a part of your cause or party because to help them or their family, and it's really fun that way. The gameplay is also really cool. It's different from Fire Emblem in that it is the enemy phase and player phase almost happen simultaneously, and what I mean by that is there is an order that you get to go in where you'll see in the top right corner, it'll be a blue box, a red box, then two red, it'll be a blue box, 2 red boxes, a blue box, and a red box. The next 5 actions, blue boxes are your player characters, red boxes are their player characters. So you get to move one of your units, the enemy gets to move one of their units, or maybe 2 because they usually have more than you. And then you get to move one of your units, and they get to move one of theirs. So you end up having to be really careful and being in your movements and saying, oh, I don't want to move him in the middle of this because I can't protect him until after all these other enemies move. And you really need to manipulate that. That's really fun. Sorry, I'm kind of going off the rails here. I love Berwick Saga. It's a great game. If you can play it, it's on the PlayStation 2. Really fun Fire Emblem-ish game. Always a good time. Super fun. It is just hands down one of the most fun strategy game experiences I've had, and I'm excited to finish it. Alright. Radiant Dawn. Without a question, super fun. Radiant Dawn has what might be my favorite skill system in the series. I love being able to take skills off of characters and then put them on other characters as if they're these transferable items, which is silly. The idea of transferring knowledge or skills between characters is dumb, but in gameplay, it's really fun. So that's one thing. I love ledges. Bring ledges back. And, you know, the advantage you have from fighting up higher, really fun to work with. I really enjoy, like, just the animations. I like that you can turn animations off. The game just moves, like, quickly, especially compared to, like, Path of Radiance. The story is, while not the best, it's still, like, passable, but that doesn't mean a whole lot to me personally. I prefer gameplay over story. And yeah, you just get tons of fun units to use. So it's a good game. If you haven't played Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn for the Wii, do yourself a fave, go pick it up and play it, because it is spectacular. It's expensive, but it's okay, because it's really good. Like, super good game. One of my favorites. Great music, great gameplay, okay story, some of my favorite characters in the series, and just, I think the map design, aside from maybe like some awful Part 4 maps, is really solid throughout the game. Alright, Shadow Dragon, fun stuff. Reclassing's fun. A lot of the quality of life improvements of the DS and 3DS era are present here. I love being able to skip things. You know, just press start to skip like enemy phase and whatever really fast. Really fun, great game. I have fun every time I play it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there in fun. Same goes for New Mystery. I'm gonna put it just above Shadow Dragon. I haven't finished New Mystery yet, but I've played enough of it to have an idea. And again, reclassing's fun. The Avatar, while you know people will complain and say the Avatar ruins the story, I think the Avatar is just like a kind of a fun character to have. It's fun to have just a unit you can just romp through the game with. It's really strong. But you also get some other units who are like just as good, if not better, in a lot of instances, especially early on, before the Avatar's promoted and can become like a Dragon Knight or something. If you're male, with like Pala and Katria. Those characters are really good too. Fun game. Really fun. Good stuff. Okay. Awakening. But it saved the series. It gets old, man. It's way too long for its own good. Way too long for its own good. I would say the Plagia arc is really solid, but then the Valm arc is just garbage. I don't have fun playing that part of the game. That's when the game starts to get really old for me. I don't like the characters there. I don't like the maps there. Particularly, like, you know, everyone talks about the military's lame. I don't like, you know, Walhart or Walmart, whatever his name is. I don't like him. I just don't like the characters there. And then Endgame feels rushed and kind of gross. It is cool that you fight the Dreadlords, though, or Deadlords, whatever they're called. That's cool. But overall, I think Awakening, while it had potential to be really fun, and it is for the first, like, first third of the game, it gets old after that fast, in my opinion. And Birthright, kind of similar. The maps kind of get boring. I found myself, I've only played through Birthright once on Lunatic, and I played it on Lunatic, but I found myself just kind of, whenever I could, just using the strong units I already had with like Korn, Ryoma, Takumi, Honoka, and then, I don't know, like Jacob as like a paladin or something. These like stronger units that I'm not just like trying to round through the game because I just stopped having fun eventually. So yeah, Birthright, while it is fun, it gets old pretty quickly. All the maps feel very samey, just like, you know, open spaces where you have to kill all the enemies. Not very varied, and I don't care for the characters as much or the classes in Birthright as much as I do in like traditional Fire Emblem and Conquest with those classes. Which is funny, the difference that I find between Birthright and Conquest. I don't think Conquest gets old, and I honestly have a lot of fun with it. It's super fun. Now, the story's bad. I get that. I'm not going to sit here and defend the story of Conquest. It's due to Kaka. It's bad. It's horrible. But, man, the gameplay is solid. There's only like one or two maps that I can think of, and every game in the series has a map or two that you can think of that you don't like. And Conquest only has a couple of those. So I know a lot of people will, like, man, I like pretty much all of them. They're so fun. Fun game. Especially Chapter 10. Everyone talks about Chapter 10, but man, that map is fun as heck. Really good defend chapter. You have to like use all the resources you're given. And the thing is, like, people are like, oh, it's so hard. Well, just, you're not using Camilla right or something. Because Camilla just like trivializes all the enemies in that map. Even on Lunatic. So yeah. Conquest is super fun. I really enjoy it. Now that I look at it, though, now that I think about it, I don't like having it in the same row as Radiant Dawn and Berwick Saga, so I'm going to put it in fun. That probably fits better. Alright, Revelations gets stale, for similar reasons to Birthright. Some of the later maps just get lame, I don't like it. Alright, now potentially to hurt some feelings. I don't enjoy playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. I don't enjoy it. I don't have fun. I think at first the combat system seems like fun and intuitive, but it gets really stale and boring really quickly. Just not fun. I don't have fun when I play the game. I try to get through it, and I can't get myself to even play it to finish it. It's boring. Berwick Saga, not fun. And it has nothing to do like mechanically. You know, the game itself, I like the weapons. You know, there's a lot of fun brave weapons to use. I like the characters are fine. The story, it seems okay from what I've played. But man, just the controls, it hurts. Like it feels so gross, and I think it looks bad too. It's just hard for me to play the game. My head actually hurts from all the shifty animations and everything. Ugh, the way the map moves around. I don't have fun while I play it. It like literally hurts my head. So that's more of a personal thing for me. But yeah, I don't care for it. All right, next we have Heroes. Which I'm gonna probably put it right here. I think I have more fun with it than that. But honestly, I don't think Heroes is very fun. I was way into it at first. I'll be honest, because you know, as a Fire Emblem fan, so I would see my favorite character pop up and say, oh, can't wait, I'll pull for Ike. I have all these free orbs. I never spent $1 on Faye. I never spent any money on it, and I never will. And man, I just don't like. I don't like the model that it went with, the gacha model, and like how much money people do spend on it makes me feel kind of sad inside. If you spend money on it, it's fine. It's not my thing. I don't like Fire Emblem Heroes. And it's more for personal reasons than anything. I just don't have fun with it anymore. I think it's kind of lame. I feel like they even tried to fix it with like some bigger maps and types things, but it still feels like trying to like get into like higher tiers in like Arena or Aether Raids or whatever is just painful and it's not fun. I don't know. I don't have fun with it. It's still on my phone. I can't get myself to delete it for some reason, but I don't have fun. All right, Echoes. I really like Echoes a lot for the first, like, I don't know, 50% of it. Then it gets old. So part 4 especially is when the game starts to really slow down for me and I stop having as much fun, especially on hard mode. Normal mode is not as bad because the enemy bulk isn't as atrocious. But part 1 and part 2 are solid. I love part 1 and part 2. Part 3 is even really fun to me. But once you get into part 4, especially Celica's side, it's just gross with all the swamps and everything. And then Alm's side, it just feels like a slog as well. Even though I do get to use some of my favorite characters in the series, being Gray and Tobin. I love Gray and Tobin. And Alm is really good too. It's just, I don't know. It gets old. The maps are, it's like all route except for with very few exception. And I like varied map objectives. That means a lot to me personally. So yeah. I think it gets stale over time. And that is also true of Warriors. Fire Emblem Warriors, hack and slash fun, whatever. I like hacking and slashing, don't get me wrong, but man, it just feels like the same thing over and over again. I just feel like I'm running around slashing things. And I do enjoy Fire Emblem Warriors more than other Warriors style games, just because of the small tactical aspect that they made me feel like I was strategizing a little by sending specific characters to specific places that they can handle well because of like weapon triangle and all that. But man, it just gets old. It gets old really quick to me. Especially so I finished the main story, but I couldn't and I still can't get myself to do all the side content to unlock like Lyn and Celica and stuff. It's just not for me, man. Not for me. All right, finally we're to Three Houses, the latest game in the series, and I think this game is fun as heck. It's fun. I love Three Houses. I wish part 1 was a little more different between houses, and I wish part 2 was way more different between houses. I understand part 1 being somewhat similar, but I wish there were some variants. Like, I feel like you spend a lot of part 1 in Fargus, in the Kingdom of Fargus, and it would have been fun for that to be like a Blue Lions only thing. You know, I played Blue Lions first, and it made sense to me. Like, oh, there you go to Miklon and all that chapter in chapter 5, whatever. But I would and you know, to go take care of Lonato. But it would be much more fun to me if, you know, the Golden Deer had missions in Leicester, or the Black Eagles had missions in Adrestia. It just would make sense. So, it's still fun to me. I love building units in Three Houses, and especially on Maddening, I think it's a fun challenge and a fun way to play the game. But it really struggles to hold my attention through multiple playthroughs. That's what keeps it from being super fun, is that its replayability is not as good to me for, I don't know, for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's how I'm going to rank my experiences with Fire Emblem. These are all my personal opinion, totally subjective. If you think I'm wrong, that's fine, because that's kind of the point of this. Feel free to share your comments. That's the point of this whole tier list idea. We do tier list Tuesday because it's a fun opportunity to yell at each other in the comments politely, essentially, just to tell each other we're wrong, and it's really fun. I personally just love discussing Fire Emblem, hence the channel. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Make sure to like the video for visibility purposes, and I really appreciate everyone who has been around and commented. Again, we crossed 10,000 recently. Super awesome, thank you. And yeah, bye guys.